How is it going, my heroes, my villains, and everybody in between? Sean Ross here, and welcome back, guys, to another live reaction to My Hero Academia. We are on manga chapter number 340, and I currently don't have the chapter title in front of me, which means the title is most likely a spoiler and is going to be revealed at the end of the chapter.
I understand your twisted plan very well. I'll smash your plans and thwart your plots. I am relentless.
I'll let you believe that.
My friends and I are working hard toward a shared goal, facing every challenge that comes our way. We're training to become the world's greatest heroes.
When the time comes, I believe you can become a great hero.
So I am very curious to find out what this title is and what it means for the events of this chapter, because with last chapter, we got to spend some good quality time with Mei Hatsume at the development studio as she was making repairs and adjustments to not only the UA barrier, but to Deku and Ida's costumes at the same time. She took multitasking to a whole new level because inventing things is how Hatsume and the support course does heroics.
If that's the case, leave it to me. Call on Mei Hatsume in the support course.
So thanks to Hatsume's help, both Deku and Ida were able to rejoin their classmates and head out on patrol with their newly repaired costumes. But as they were leaving UA, we transitioned over to Central Hospital, where we could see both All Might and Hawks coming up with plans and strategies. So going into this chapter, we should be picking up at the hospital and seeing what type of plans they have come up with. So, mount ladies and gentle criminals, without further ado, let's dive right into chapter 340. And on the first page, we are picking up right where we left off with All Might and Hawks. Central Hospital. To collaborate in secret with this key facility, several police stations have moved their bases of operations nearby.
Look!
And then we can see a sign next to a door that reads League of Villains / Paranormal Liberation Front Counterforce HQ. Then we got All Might saying, we're awaiting Aoyama's exam results.
Listen!
And then Hawk says, this business with Aoyama means we'll be forced to take decisive action all at once. We've deemed each of you here to be trustworthy based on certain factors regarding your situations and actions. So, we're ready to move ahead with this conversation.
I'm sorry. I couldn't figure everything out.
As far as we can tell, the League of Villains hasn't made a move since.
That's true, but I'm sure they're hiding in the shadows waiting to strike again.
Likely, yes. The police are currently working alongside heroes to gather as much information about the group as possible. Now, let's talk strategy.
Yo, let this secret meeting commence. We got All Might and Hawks walking into a room filled with some policemen, including Sukauchi and Sanza, but then right behind them, it looks like we also have Star's pilot bros in the back, along with what looks like Ragdoll standing right behind Sukauchi and Sanza.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
But with this shot, we are getting a pretty good look at Hawks' back right here, and his wings look a little bit bigger compared to the last time we saw them. Slowly but surely, it looks like Hawks' wings are in fact growing back. Dever, Genist, and the other big heroes are in command out in the field at the moment. And since this classified meeting had to be thrown together in a hurry, we're keeping our circle nice and small. Safety first and all.
Allow us to lend a helping hand.
Yo, it is her. Ragdoll, the office cat, is present at this meeting, and she is here to represent her team, the Wild Wild Pussycats.
Your feline fantasies are here.
We're champions serving up justice!
Perfectly cute and cat-like heroes. Still powerless. I'll be working behind the scenes to support the other three in the field. Call me the office cat. We're the Wild Wild Pussycats.
And even though Ragdoll is quirkless, you know she will be doing everything she possibly can to support her teammates and our heroes moving forward. Taking every precaution? Yo. LOL. We are already starting with the cat puns with Ragdoll, as she is inserting cat into precaution. But still, come on. I sure wish Ryuko and the gang could be here, meow.
Hello?
And as we get a shot of the 3 other members, we can see the name Ryuko pointing directly at Pixie Bob, just to clarify who Ragdoll was referring to.
Hey!
And then Hawks just says, sorry about that. It's not like we doubt their loyalty or anything. Yeah? Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh my god. We have gone full yeah.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Hawks is just channeling his inner cat right now as he's just repeating what Ragdoll just said. And I can totally see these two just repeating the word yeah over and over and over again at each other. But after the meows, we can just see Ragdoll adjusting her hair as she says, they're out there using my search quirk for evil meow. So I'm here to help however I can. Let's hear the key points of this plan.
You gonna learn today?
Yo, look at All Might. It's like he's ready to present right here. He has a whiteboard at the ready directly behind him as we see him twirling a marker in his hand.
Behold.
And it looks like he is placing magnets on the board to represent the villains. Oh, that's great right there. One of them is just All for One's nutsack of a face, while the other is just a hand to represent Shigaraki. Whether we're talking about Plan A or Plan B, what we have to do, no matter what, is to split them up.
You gotta keep them separated.
And we just have All Might taking that marker and drawing a gigantic line in between All for One and Shigaraki. Step 1 of the plan is to separate these two.
I'll smash your plans and thwart your plots. I am relentless.
Not again. The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
You gotta keep them separated.
Based on the data recorded during Star and Stripes battle, Tomura Shigaraki is now far more powerful than even All for One. And everyone who witnessed the fight in Kamino has a decent idea of All for One's strength. Also, they have that mind meld they exploited when attacking Tartarus. This goes beyond just the communication via radio waves, but it's not clear to what extent they actually share thoughts with each other. Should they attack together, we have no hope of victory.
Barnacles! What could be worse than a giant paint bubble?
Oh, I know! 2 giant paint bubbles! Skip it up and that up!
And All Might is not wrong by saying that, because dealing with one All for One was bad enough, and we all saw the aftermath in Kamino. But now we have 2 All for Ones to deal with, which makes it next to impossible to win if they work together. So the one ray of hope of victory that we have is to separate these two and hopefully disconnect the mind meld that they share.
Hey!
But as All Might is saying this, we can see Star's pilot bros chiming in right here saying, hey, then why didn't they double team Star?
Phrasing.
Yo.
Said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
I understand what this pilot is asking, but phrasing with that statement right there. If anything, it was Star who double-teamed Shigaraki when she summoned her stand during their fights. But I think the simple answer to this pilot's question simply comes down to the fact that if All for One was present, he would have been affected by New Order. She could have spoken his name All for One, meaning New Order's rules could have worked on him, I think.
Correct!
Exactly what I just said. Me and All Might have a mind meld of our own. We are on the same page right here. To win this war, we need to get those two at least 10 kilometers apart.
What?
That's the bare minimum requirements.
What the fuck?
And that right there is easier said than done.
Hey!
And we can just see a tired-looking Tsukauchi chiming in to say, of course, they'll do everything they can to make sure that won't happen. That's right, Tsukauchi.
Coming at you.
And we can see All Might adding a Dabi magnet onto the board as we see him drawing fire and flames being shot out by Dabi. That far-spreading, all-consuming fire, and the terror it instills. It's a threat we became aware of through the attack on the kids' training camp. Yes, we'll be stonewalled so long as Dabi joins their vanguard.
Now, it begins. Looks like your concern has you distracted, Wilson. What? Move! Everyone, get back! Let's go! You pros ought to lay off. We haven't come here for any of you, so just stay out of our way.
Yeah, Dabi and his flames are definitely going to be a major problems for our pro heroes moving forward. And they definitely don't want a repeat of the chaos that Dabi caused during the training camp. So luckily, we have Shoto and Endeavor tasked with confronting Dabi and taking him down. So splitting up All for One and Shigaraki means getting Dabi out of the way too. Oh, that's what Ragdoll's doing. As she is saying that, we can see her kind of fanning the flames that All Might is drawing in the panel above them.
Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
Kind of breaking the fourth wall right there, Horikoshi. So as Ragdoll is fanning the flames away, right next to her we have Sansa saying, not just Dabi. And All Might says, exactly. All of them. Every one of the enemy's major operatives. We must divide and conquer one by one. And we can see All Might just smacking the whiteboard, sending all of the villain magnets flying in every direction. To that end, we have to lure each of these villains to their defeat. Oh, is that all? Pretty optimistic thinking. Easier said than done. And All Might just says, fair enough, which is why we need a strategy to make that happen. And Sukuuchi asks, you mean Aoyama? And All Might says, the boy is still in turmoil. Born quirkless, his very life was exploited as a resource. And Sukuuchi, with this very serious look on his face, says, I sympathize, but we're weighing our own feelings against the fate of the world. And the fact remains that he turned his back on decent society. Based on my position, I have no choice but to proceed with caution. And All Might says, I choose to have faith in young Aoyama. I want to trust him, but I do trust his teacher, Shota Aizawa.
If we can get him to spill some intel, we'd be able to hit them where it hurts. But unfortunately, he's shown no sign that he'll open up.
Do you think our connection will lead to a miracle?
Try anything. If you can just get him to talk, could be a major break in the case. Go ahead and start.
Yo! Here we go. We are transitioning to some other part of Central Hospital right now, and we are diving into the long-awaited conversation between teacher and student, Eraserhead and Aoyama. And with this panel shot right here, it is very reminiscent from when Aizawa had to confront Kurogiri in Tartarus. Except now, he has one of his students on the other side of that glass.
Nope.
And Aoyama can't even bring himself to make eye contact with his teacher right here.
Yahoo!
And we can also see the return of Dr. Yoshi right here as he is standing next to Aizawa in the room. After a full exam, we found no irregularities. Brainwaves were normal too. So Lady Nagant's fate was courtesy of something All for One obtained after his grand defeat by All Might. And as Aizawa's just staring at Aoyama, he's just thinking to himself, in retrospect, if he'd really planted an explosive ability in the boy that would trigger in the event of betrayal, then why murder that other peon as a lesson? Why threaten the family with death for lying to him? Why leave anything to the imagination? The only thing All for One planted was a seed of fear inside the boy and his parents.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. I sense much fear in you.
And that is all for One needed. Fear is a very powerful motivator, and just by murdering that peon in front of the Aoyama family, he made it crystal clear that if they ever betray him, that will be their fate. And that seed of fear is what has kept them in line with obeying All for One's orders. But then we just see Aizawa saying to Aoyama, "Are you scared?" And you just see Aoyama jolt in fear for a second, but then just fall silent. Doesn't say a word. You won't find many friends in life that'll stick up for you like that. What do you fear? All for One himself?
Yes!
And Aoyama just says, yes. I'm also scared that I can never sparkle and shine as they do. The more they express their faith in me, the more I lose faith in myself. Even if I can take the hand they offer, if I find myself face to face with All for One, who's to say I wouldn't make the same terrible choice all over again? That is what I fear. I want to leave it all behind, to find some dark corner of the world untouched by light, where I can wait for death to take me. Nothing more.
What? It's not my fault. No. It is. I'm the one to blame.
The man wants to die.
That right there is emotional damage.
Wow. Aoyama is basically praying for death at this point to save him from this situation. That seed of fear that All for One planted within Aoyama is rooted deep within him. You may be given leniency, but your sins will be with you forever. Aoyama, once this war is over, you may no longer have a home at UA. Those friends of yours like to sugarcoat things, but I'll tell it to you straight. I'll have to rip out that fear that's taken root in him by force. You will fight. It's the only thing you can do.
Damn! My God, pull yourself together!
No! What are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it!
Let's go, Aizawa. Giving Aoyama the tough love he needs in this moment in order to uproot that fear within him. And I love the fact how he's just calling out Class 1A, because he knows they are kind of sugarcoating the situation just a little bit, but he's going to tell Aoyama like it is and let him know he has to fight, and this is the only path he has moving forward. And Aoyama, getting all emotional, says, I know. All is lost unless we win this. I know that. To achieve victory, I must now be a pawn for our side, just like them, as their equal. I understand all that. And Aizawa just cuts him off to say, maybe we are no different than All for One. That's definitely the case when it comes to how we intend to use you. That said, I won't allow you to slink off haunted by those sins and die a pathetic, quiet death.
What did you say?
And upon hearing that, we can see Aoyama lifting his head as he makes eye contact with Aizawa. Not as long as I'm a hero course teacher and you're my student.
You what?
Yo, and Aoyama is thinking back to what Aizawa said to him through the iPad. I still have no intention of expelling you, because none of the lessons I teach my students are about living a life burdened by guilt. As ashamed and despicable as you feel, you will walk alongside the friends who still reach out to you.
Here's the deal. You still haven't proven I can trust you again. So I'll watch you. If you're going to see this through, you gotta do it the right way. Use your head. You hear me, problem child? When the time comes, I believe you can become a great hero.
Well, I guess this means my twinkling won't have to stop after all.
Damn, Aizawa. That is powerful right there. And in this moment, everything just disappears. The wall separating them is gone, their chairs are gone, even Aoyama's restraints have disappeared. Right now, it is just teacher and student connecting in this moment.
Hello there.
And we can see that Aizawa is briefly thinking about Kurogiri as he says all of this. We will protect you. I guarantee it. Stick with them, and you'll be okay. Hey! Damn. And we just get this panel shot zooming in upon Aoyama's face, as we can see some tears beginning to well up in his eyes, but we can also see a little bit of that shimmer and sparkle starting to return in his eyes. A little bit of hope has just been instilled within Aoyama, and some of that fear has been uprooted within him, all thanks to Aizawa. But what can a single miscreant like me even accomplish? And we can see a little smile coming over Aizawa's face as he is thinking to himself, of course, he's still scared. Anyone would be, which is why. And then Aizawa says, you're not the only one I'm putting on this path.
Meanwhile,
and it looks like we are transitioning back to UA right here with somebody saying, hey, it's time. Let's go. Yo!
This person is interested in switching to the hero track.
Shinso, you hear that? It's great. They think you're incredible.
We're proud of you!
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm! What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait! Everybody calm down!
For General Studies Class C, Hitoshi Shinso. He's hoping to be one of you, so treat him as you would any classmate. I finally reached it. My starting line.
Finally! Let's go! It is about damn time, indeed.
Finally!
It has been well over 100 chapters since the ending of the joint training arc, and we are now finally reintroducing Shinso back into the story.
I'm back, bitches!
From what we can see right here, Shinso looks like he's wearing his new hero costume, looking very much like a ninja, as he is hanging from this tree like Spider-Man with the binding cloth.
Hey!
And as he is hanging there, his classmates from Class C are yelling up to him and saying, it's time, let's go. And he looks down and says, right. And we can also see that the title of this chapter completes the trilogy. The story of how we all became heroes, Part 3. This right here is going to be Shinso's starting line. And I called this that Aizawa would be incorporating Shinso into his plans 2 chapters back. Who are we talking about right here that is incorporated into Aizawa's plan? Does it have to do with Shirakumo / Kurogiri?
Hello there.
Or does this have to do with Shinso in any way? Because I would love for this to be the case on how Shinso gets brought into the fold and starts working alongside Class 1A.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
The second year might have been suspended, but Aizawa knows that Shinso is now ready to work alongside Class 1A, and it does kind of seem like both Shinso and Aoyama are going to become crucial pieces for Aizawa's plan as we move forward. You're not the only one I'm putting on this path. That path is one we will all walk together. And that right there is the end of the chapter. Next chapter hits January 23rd.
When the time comes, I believe you can become a great hero. But frankly, you've still got some serious issues. Unfortunately, we don't have time to stand around talking. Can I count on you to take care of this for me?
Well, I guess this means my twinkling won't have to stop after all.
I finally reached it. My starting line. And remember, I'm not the type to waste my time on hopeless cases.
Yo, I am so happy to have Shinso back in the story again, and I am very much looking forward to seeing his interactions with Deku and Class 1A as we move forward into this final act of MHA. But with this chapter, I am curious as to why this title was kept hidden until the very end, because the title didn't really spoil anything in this chapter besides it completing the trilogy of chapters that we have received. I'm curious as to why that was the case, but this chapter can mainly be divided in half, with the first half pertaining to All Might and the gang coming up with plans on how to separate All for One Shigaraki and the other villains, and then the second half pertaining to Aizawa confronting Aoyama and trying to uproot that seed of fear that All for One planted within him. And from what we can see, Aizawa seems to have been successful in instilling some pieces of hope back into Aoyama, and is currently sending both Aoyama and Shinso down two particular paths, which I'm guessing are crucial to his plan. And I have a lot of questions on that front, especially with how they will be utilized. But for right now, going into next chapter, all I really have to say is welcome Shinso to UA's Hero Course. So with that, guys, that right there is my live reaction to chapter 340 of My Hero Academia. But for now, I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts on the events of this chapter. What do you guys think about the chapter overall and the conversation we had between Aizawa and Aoyama? And then with that ending, how excited are you guys to finally have Shinso back in the story? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and feel free to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon that you guys can be alerted for every new MHA reaction that pops up on the channel. But if you guys want to talk about other things or talk about MHA outside of YouTube, feel free to also follow me over on Twitter. A link to my Twitter account can also be found in the description down below. But that's going to do it for me here, guys. So until next week, when we have chapter 341 of My Hero Academia, I'll talk to you guys next time. But remember, go beyond plus ultra!